Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Let's start our day and we are going to resume our discussion with regards to data visualization libraries. So pretty much everything with Seaborn was done, but there was one thing that was Pairplot. And uh, with the concept of Pairplot, I put up a question that, if you are creating a pair plot, by default, some plots were coming at some distinct locations. If I have to change the location, what can I do and how can I do so? So let's draw um start first. So let me just import the necessary libraries. Let's load the data set from Seaborn that we were using. I'm going to load tips. And in order to draw the pair plot, we would use the pair plot function and we would pass our data. So this would pretty much create the pair plot. The question that I put up was कि अभी like predefined, I'm getting histograms at the diagonal and I'm getting scatter plots everywhere. So can I change it? Is there any way that you guys could found where I could define कि मेरे को यहाँ पे this type of graph चाहिए and at other places I want this kind of graph. Yes, anyone, if they have been able to figure out, write in the comment, write in the chat box. If you don't know, give me a thumbs up. So I'll continue and I'll let you know how to do this. Okay, so let's see how to do this. Now, there are a few functions that you can use in order to define what kind of graphs you want where. So you can see that I have a very distinct diagonal here. So there is a function that you can use if you want to draw something on the diagonal that is called map diagonal function. And there are some charts that you can see which are not present on the diagonal. Okay, so another function that can be used is map of diagonal to do so. There are few other functions such as one upon mentioned, and let's explore some of them and see how we can change the orientation and how we can define specific kinds of graph at specific locations. So to do so, I am going to save this graph in some kind of variable. Okay, let's call it graph for now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to manipulate this variable. So graph dot map BIAG, and here I'm going to write or specify the name of graph that I want to display on the diagonals of the chart. Okay, so let's say I want to plot histogram and I have simply mentioned nothing, just plt.hist as of now to draw a simple histogram using the data that I have provided, which is of tips. Okay, and I have restored it inside the same variable. What this is going to do, this is going to like manipulate the diagonals. Okay, then the places which are not present on the diagonals. Okay, what about those? So we have the function that is called graph dot map of BIAG. And here you can specify again the name of the graph that you would like to draw here. So I have mentioned scatter plot. Store it inside the variable. You can either display it directly, store it inside a variable, display it later. That is your choice. Okay. And if you want to add legend as well, you can use the function that is add legend. And this is going to display the legend. So let's see how our graph is going to look like. All right, the function is not showing our graph as of now. Let me figure out what went wrong. Yeah, we can do that as well. Let's do graph dot show. I don't think this will affect, but let's see. Yeah, the pair grid function, the function that we are using, it does not have the attribute show. Let's do plt dot show. Yeah, the graph is visible now. Yes, it is pretty much visible. And what if we use the pair plot function instead of pair grid? Yes, this is working now. All right, so there are two functions that you can use to do the same. One is pair plot, another one is pair grid. I'll mention the function right here. So let's cut this out. Okay, you can again impart hue here as well. And if you want some other plot, so let's use the same data. And let's get the pair plot function here as well. Just for the sake of demonstration, instead of using pair plot, I'll be using pair grid here. Okay, so in the above demonstration, we used map diagonal function to draw some graphs at the diagonal. So similarly, we have map upper function, which is going to draw some plots on the upper part of the map. Okay, basically this is the diagonal, and this would be considered as the upper part. And this would be the lower part of the map. So map upper, let's plot histograms there, and map lower. Let's use a different kind of plot. So we can plot this plot. And let's use Seaborn to plot them so that you guys know if this can be done as well. So Seaborn, and then Seaborn, we call it KDE plot. Okay, so here you can see now that we have KDE plot in the lower section. We have hist plot in the upper section of the graph. And since I didn't mention anything for the diagonal is empty. Please have a look at this code and give me a thumbs up if you understand what we have done here. Yes, guys, please react with a thumbs up if you can understand what we have done. अगर नहीं समझ में आया, then please mention your doubts in the chat box. Okay, Afan got it. What about other people? Can you guys please react? Okay. So basically, there are two functions. One is pairplot, one is pairgrid, and there is also one function that has a name, I guess, facet grid. Okay, you can explore that as well. So all of these functions, they are used to create subplots in Seaborn. So up until now, we were using this function only, and it would generate some random graph at some random locations. अभी हमने क्या किया? We manipulated this graph by storing it inside a variable, and upon that variable, we applied some functions. So this particular function of pair plot and pair grid, it has some extra functions such as map, diagonal, map of diagonal, map upper, map lower. Okay. So these functions, they define locations of graph inside this pair plot. So this is the diagonal. This we mean by upper. This we mean by lower. And off diagonal means anything which is not present at the diagonal. Okay. So whenever you want to plot something, you can plot it by mentioning that particular function. Just be location pe you have to plot. Inside the function, you can pass the graph as the argument that you would like to draw at this place. So map at diagonal पे मेरे को histogram बनाना था. So I wrote the function for histogram. This function is of matplotlib library, pyplot package. Again, मेरे को off diagonals पे I had to create scatter plot. So I did that. Okay. Again, of matplotlib library. So what I did, we used the pair grid function instead of pair plot to achieve the same thing. What did I do? I used the histplot function of Seaborn to draw histograms, and I used KDE plot. It is basically I guess it is called density estimation function. And you can see that at the lower section of the graph, I have the KDE plot. Okay, some kind of contours you are able to see. This kind of plot or this kind of structure you will very frequently observe in physical map. जो topographical maps होता है ना, तो उसमें the height of a hill या height of a mountain that is denoted or that is represented using these circular graphs. Okay. Since here मैंने diagonal के लिए कोई function ही नहीं use किया, and I didn't mention any graph on the diagonal, so the diagonal is empty for me. Okay. Is it understandable to you guys? Now, if it is clear, give a thumbs up. Again, you can see that the pair grid function, the graph is initialized here. Not, sorry, here in the first case. Also, you guys can observe that this pair plot function and the pair grid function, they belong to Seaborn. And at the bottom, you can see that we have even used matplotlib graph inside it. So you can visualize any graph that belong to any library, and you can plot it using the pair plot function or the pair grid function. Okay, please explore this other function also. I guess it is called facet grid, or somewhat, uh, this name, it is present in the function. So please search for this function. This also does kind of same thing. Okay. So this was one thing that I asked you to figure out in the previous session. And there was another thing. Um, I guess we drew a graph in Seaborn, or we compared beverage category and calories. और हमें पता लगा था that smoothies, they have maximum number of calories for a particular data set. Now that graph, you uh, visualized the data. Can you guys hear me?